It's TikTok's world, and we are living in it. Let's do it. Okay, wait, so that was cool, actually. Wait, that was just cool. Mortar operations are essential. So they are basically a portable light artillery unit is the best way to think of them. They are designed to actually support infantry units relatively close to the battlefield with indirect fire. And so mortars, unlike artillery that travels in like kind of a parabolic arc, I mean they're all parabolic, but a flat, long arc, mortars come up very high and can drop very close. That's sort of the appeal, is that they go way high up and come straight back down. So they can hit enemies that are within 300 meters, whereas artillery needs to be hundreds of meters away to be effective. Just want to point out the most important detail is that there is noted children's cartoon character Plank, who's made an appearance. All right, moving on.
Bro, what's your body count? Oh, me? Dang, like 30 now. Oh my God, you are a hoe. How does that make me a... Wait, are we talking about people we...
Okay, I'm gonna point this out. I don't think there is probably a handful of soldiers that have actually killed anyone in combat. Or sorry, killed more than, I'm gonna say 10 people in combat, right? There might be some exceptions for things like, okay, if you're an aircraft pilot, okay, sure. But this guy that's OCP, US Army, yeah, I'm gonna say that like there's probably some special ops guys who have like racked up like body counts of 30 plus, but a regular private who's been in the Army a year, and people are like, how many people did you kill? I don't know how to tell you this, but even me, I'm like reasonably certain that the answer is like 0. Because at the distances you are engaging people, you just shoot at the muzzle flash. You don't know, you just shoot at it until the muzzle flash stops flashing at you. That's it, right? That's what you do. So this idea that like, it's like Call of Duty where you're gonna get your KD ratio at the end of the match is like nonsense, right? And it's one of those weird stereotypes where a lot of people are like, I couldn't join the Army because I couldn't kill anybody. It's like, yeah, no one in the Army, hardly anyone in the Army kills anybody, right? You think the food service people kill anybody? Even the tank crew members, right? They don't feel like they're killing anybody, you know? They're shooting at other tanks. Very few people in the military will get an up close and personal, like, life-taking experience. Anyway.
We slept with? Yeah. Oh. Well, I've never done that yet. Then.
Yeah, that's pretty classic military. That's the thing. Okay, outside of military bases, you have to think that imagine you took, like, 50,000 young dudes and just put them in one tiny base on government land that's so undesirable that government couldn't sell it to anybody else. So, it's kind of a stereotype. And yes, the military has a lot of women in it, but it is, I think, 70 to 85% men. So it's kind of a stereotype that the local towns, their surrounding population, the women either hate the military because the guys are so aggressive, or they are sort of like keeping their eye open for like a well-connected and high-earning military spouse, like an officer, to the point where sometimes it can feel pretty predatory. Like I definitely had a soldier who got married at like, I think got married at like 19 to a girl who was going to the local college, and she never lived with him, was actively like cheating on him basically from day one, and refused to divorce him. And she was so uninvolved that he was starting to get problems where he was like accused of marital fraud, because they're like, you mean you've been married to this person for 2 years and like you've been drawing benefits for her, and like you aren't living together and you've not really slept together, and she's on social media with all these other guys. And he was like, I can't get her to divorce me. Finally, they called her and she was like, okay, sure, I will file a divorce, but only after this semester ends because I still need those benefits. And it was like, okay, not everybody's like that, but enough are like that it's pretty irritating.
What? What the f? 30. What does 30 mean?
Oh my god, I hate that. I hate that. I hate the, are you a low-key badass killer? I hate it. I hate it with a passion. That like, I'm gonna kill somebody. Here's the thing, you would think that when you achieve a certain level of the military, the desire to be like a Billy Badass will eventually like leave you. And you will eventually just be secure, like a secure man. But it doesn't happen. That's what blows my mind, right? Remember that Navy SEAL, Eddie Gallagher, who was accused of desecrating that corpse? Do you know what he did exactly? He got some fancy knife that he had made for like $500 from some bougie knife manufacturer, and he insisted that he wanted to get a kill with the knife, like a Call of Duty achievement. But to do that, right, to achieve his goal, he allegedly cut the throat of a wounded, underaged combatant. And if you're like, so he could feel like a big bad, he's already a Navy SEAL Chief Petty Officer, right? No, unquestioned badass dude, multiple combat deployments, but he still didn't feel secure enough in his like role as a soldier and manhood that he still had to get a knife kill on a kid. Okay guys, so here's the thing. There's two types of airborne operations in the Army. Actually, there's like 4, but let's talk about the 2 that we're looking at here. Out of you leave an aircraft, there's 2 ways to leave an aircraft, right, in flight. The first is called static line jumping, and this is when you look at like the 101st Airborne or big formations of paratroopers, how they get a lot of troops to the ground. They literally just line them up and walk out the door, and you don't pull your parachute. Your parachute is actually pulled by a cord that's already connected to the chute. So as you jump out, the cord extends and it pulls the parachute, it's off your back, pulls the parachute out and it goes. And to do that though, the planes have to fly really low and you spend very little time in free fall. In contrast, if you are a special forces team or other types of highly specialized military units, you can't have your chute open right away. You want to be able to maneuver onto the target, and so you do what's called a halo jump, high altitude, low opening jump, where you free fall for a long period of time and then you open your own chute. It's considered way more dangerous, obviously, because it's like skydiving at night. And that is what we're seeing here. So each of those big backpacks are actually parachutes. And this team of guys is going to be dropping in on some sort of training event.
You're not gonna buy me a mount, huh?
Okay, I don't know where this like hitting people is normal in the military thing comes from.
I didn't run!
Oh my gosh, she's yelling that she's doing hundreds of push-ups.
I didn't freeze! I didn't run! Toughen up since I've been gone, huh, you little bitch?
Why do people think that like the military is just the military can kind of be bullying, but like you don't hit people. Damn.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning! Take your buff ass to sleep!
Oh man, yeah. Also the yelling while doing exercises. Okay, that's something that you do on active duty, unfortunately. I think it's stupid as all hell, and it doesn't do a damn thing. But nothing is more awkward than being by yourself and still yelling while doing exercises. That's like peak military cringe, honestly. Yeah, actually, I think the goofy military TikTok is probably the best thing that has, not the best thing, it's one of the better things that's happened to military recruiting. Because honestly, the appeal of military to a lot of young people is that you get to have friends hang out and goof around. Honestly, it's probably the thing that appeals to people way more than doing badass stuff, because the ratio of badass stuff to boring administrative stuff is like pretty skewed. You don't get to play with that cool gear. They don't even like let you near the cool gear, except every once in a while. So yeah, I think just seeing soldiers being regular people who goof around, have fun, and aren't that aren't just regular people is probably one of the best things for it. Okay, that's pretty funny. Also, I think I may get copyright claimed if I continue to play this. Oh man, they worked so hard to get that timing right. I'm sure of it. Okay, yeah, this is a 155 howitzer. When we talked about the artillery that shoots a long distance, this is what we're talking about. It can fire, I think, like over 10 miles, so it can really reach out and do work. And you can see it's actually, I think, mostly computer controlled now, though it's obviously they still have a soldier pulling the trigger.
Yo, Blake, that's 1-800 the general behind you. Carry on.
The 1-800 general. Okay, FYI guys, first off, you don't salute indoors, but if you see a general enter the area, what you're going to want to do is as soon as you see him, you are going to call the building to attention, yelling as loud as possible. You're going to stand up, you're going to yell attention as loud as possible, and everyone will come to attention. Everyone within earshot, and then the general will be like, oh, at ease, relax, go about your business. Yeah, it warms my heart to see that we still live in a world where privates just screw around and have weird, like, bromance stuff. Yeah, this never ends. Boredom, being a young person who's bored, will just produce just hilarity every time. Oh my god, why do you have to do that in gear? Why would you do that all in your gear? Oh god, I gotta see this. Oh man, military weddings. They can be really classy or they can be really, really, really cringe. Let's see.
Oh, you're at a military wedding when?
Where's your boyfriend? Work trip. San, where's your husband? He's deployed. Peyton, where's your boyfriend right now? He's deployed.
Interesting. I wonder when this was filmed. Let's see.
Where's your husband right now? Deployed. Bree, where's your boyfriend? He's on a work trip. Where's your boyfriend? On a work trip. Where's your boyfriend?
I don't have a boyfriend, but I have an OnlyFans.
Damn. Wow. Shoot. Yeah. Do soldiers deploy that much? Yeah, kind of. The number of deployments is dropping, but the number of like work trips, these are what in the military parlance are called TDYs. The number of times you get TDY'd to take care of some nonsense is really, really frequent. And often it's planning a large-scale exercise, doing a training course, really common. I would say that if you're a good soldier who like has their stuff together, you are highly likely to get tagged, voluntold for all sorts of nonsense courses. Some of them are cool, right? Like we sent a bunch of soldiers to SWAT school, and that was something that was like, okay, that's worth going away for 2 weeks for. But sometimes it's for silly things, like someone needs to get certified to be the unit movement officer who can certify loads for transport on truck and aircraft. And boy, oh boy, that is 2 thrilling weeks, let me tell you. Yeah, that's actually how that gear comes off. That's not a trick. And that is because in Iraq and Afghanistan, we saw that a lot of times soldiers' vehicles would get either deliberately blown or accidentally fall into canals, rivers, and like bodies of water. And yes, even in Iraq, there's a lot of bodies of water in the city. And what would happen is, because soldiers are literally wearing giant ceramic weights, they would oftentimes struggle to get out of their Humvees and to swim away. And so the military was like, hey, also soldiers would get caught in their vehicles a lot if the vehicle was burning. So they wanted the ability to quickly lighten the load, quickly ditch the soldier's gear. And so they would often install pull tabs where you would like lift a Velcro, grab and rip, and it'll fall away just like that. Yeah, that's the Army. That's the Marine Corps. Intellect not required. That's also the Air Force. Just extremely bougie. Here's the thing: the Army loves to roast the Air Force for like being soft, but like the Air Force maintains and deploys aircraft and some other things. They do like cyber and they do the missile force, but they're technicians. They need to be really smart. And frankly, they probably aren't going to be anywhere that an aircraft can't safely be stored, maintained, and flown out of. So we don't need the Air Force to be tough. We need the Air Force to be smart and really, really, really well organized. But, you know, tough, no reason to, right? And there's no intrinsic value in suffering, right? You're not a better person if you do the same job as someone else, but you suffer more while you do it. Right? That's not winning. That's just putting in extra effort for no reason. And the Air Force has correctly figured out that, frankly, you don't need to make your airmen suffer for no reason, as long as they do their job effectively.
Everyone is gonna die, and no one is gonna remember you. So, fuck it.
Wow. Okay, that is dual 50 caliber BMGs. I don't even know what's going on with that shirt or that hat. That is not regulation. That is not even remotely close to regulation. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so what they are doing is what's called, air assault operations. So what air assault is it was developed in Vietnam, and the idea is that soldiers can deploy en masse in helicopter. Think Full Metal Jacket, right? A bunch of helicopters land, and soldiers either get out right there, but sometimes the helicopters can't even land. And they've said, okay, we're gonna come up with a way to get soldiers down out of helicopters, even if the helicopters themselves can't land. And the answer is this: rappelling. They will hook up to a harness and drop out of the helicopter and rappel down to the ground. Yeah, that is not how you're supposed to do it. Face first is, I mean, they're obviously just screwing around, right? That person's been rappelling for years. Probably an instructor at air assault school, but the rest, the regular people, do it the safe way. Face into the helicopter, kick off from the back, and slide down.
Damn, bro, what is that?
Check it out, bro. There's sweet potatoes and there's some chicken tits. That's some stain on my nutrition. Stay hydrated. Hold up. With the gallon always on deck. Potassium on deck so I don't catch the cramps. Juicy, bro.
I mean, I'm gonna just put this out there. Soldiers get into a lot of trouble in their free time. It's just the nature of it, as I'm sure Marines do. And so if a soldier has a hobby that is even marginally healthy, is a marginally good outlet for their energy, then you know what, as a commander, as a leader, I encourage the shit out of that. So if there's somebody that is a hardcore bodybuilder and they don't drink and they don't party and they don't commit crimes and they go home and they drink their protein shake and they play Call of Duty until they go to bed at 9 p.m. to get their 8 hours of sleep, dude, that dude sounds like an outstanding Marine. All right, and I'm gonna do everything I can to keep, give him the windows he needs to make his hobby happen, even if it means letting him bring his pre-mixed meals to the field.
It's me, my natural habits. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's actually, that's like a pro like bodybuilder level of physique, actually. Oh man, okay. So here, let's give you guys a little context. This is the Air Force. How do I know that? That little patch says SF. The real Special Forces, they have a long tab that spells out Special Forces. SF stands for Security Forces. This is the Air Force's version of the military police, and what they are doing right now is they are getting certified on the taser. To get certified on the taser, you have to get tased. And as you can see, it looks like they have a civilian instructor, so that's cool.
Yes, sir. Taser.
That is the appropriate response. Why are they getting certified on the taser? Because they're law enforcement and they need to be able to have as many non-lethal options as possible. And so, yeah, and to get certified on the taser, it's appropriate that you know what you're doing to people, and so you have to get tased to get cert to carry a taser.
Real talk.
He's crazy. How am I even gonna? I don't even know how.
This dude just loves showing off his guns on TikTok.
How long will it take, man?
How long will it take?
How
That's
many
the question.
fucking licks does it take?
Hardest part is getting over this fucking tricep right here.
Let's do it. I'm gonna try to be limp.
That actually seems like it might like cut off blood flow. Maybe that's why he's so vascular. Okay, here's the sad thing is his buddy is ridiculously jacked. But because he is like a professional bodybuilder level jacked, it just doesn't matter. This dude looks like a normie, just because this dude looks like a Photoshop experiment.
Alright, let's see. Dude, it's coming off.
Just roll. Yeah.
I'm
Let me get
literally
my
as
fucking.
limp as possible. Pause. Oh, there we go. Ah, fuck.
All right, now let's try this side.
Okay.
This is actually just pretty funny.
This one should be easier. It's my smaller tricep.
Bro,
Watch how easier this one comes off, I swear. Ooh.
here, put your arm up on my chest.
I bet. You alright? How he's put your arm up on my chest.
Why do you have?
Yo, this is listen, this is it. This is the military. You're gonna do people a solid in ways that you never thought you would have to.
How many damn triceps you got?
This is you want that band of brothers, you want that tattoo. This is the nonsense you gotta accept. This is what that means.
He's got all.
There we go.
I'm actually sweating.
Yeah. Thanks, dog. Pushing too many pencils. Hold on, let's do that.
To make
Pushing too many pencils.
Oh, we've been there. Here's another Air Force guy, right? Yes. So, what do you mean get married and move off base? Well, the military, the DoD, has a policy, all branches, that says that if you are an E4 and below, like a junior soldier, sort of like 18 to 22, you gotta live in the barracks, right? Sort of like how colleges are like, hey, your freshman and sophomore year, you gotta live in the dorms. Same thing. They feel like, get your feet wet, but they want you supervised a little bit. It's actually not that crazy a policy. And guess what? You get to live there for free. Unlike college that charges you, $3,000 a month to live in a one room that you share with one other dude who's never learned how to shower, right? You get your own space and you get it for free. But if you get married, regardless of rank, you get to move off base, right? So why you would grant greater freedom to married people? Well, the military basically designed their policies based around like the 1950s lifestyle where it was completely reasonable for a 19-year-old to get married and start having kids. And they said, well, you can't have kids and a stay-at-home Betty Crocker wife in the barracks, so we've got to let them move off. Obviously, that era hasn't been the norm for American families since probably the 80s, but the DoD just can't seem to update its policies. And so there's this tremendous financial and frankly lifestyle incentive to literally get married so you can move off base with your bros. Like you guys, like junior and senior year in college where you just rent a house next to campus.
I bet Mark dinner if I could get him to say the number 5.
Wait, who is this? Oh, okay. So let's see if we can discern who this is. First off, the guy on the right is a captain, and he is an aviator. He actually has his pilot's wings. The person on the left, I believe, who is much older, is either a newly commissioned officer, but I think more likely they are a chief warrant officer. Chief warrant officers are the Army's technical experts, and as a pilot, that means they are such a strong pilot that they don't lead soldiers, they don't do basically any like other duties. They are just experts at, well, piloting.
I bet I can get you to say the number 5. You want to play? You're already thinking about what could this possibly be. You just got to answer my questions. That's it.
Okay.
All right. What's 1 plus 1?
3.
You got to answer the right question. The answers, Mark. What's 2 plus 2?
You know they're aviators and they're pilots because they're calling each other Mark, right? I don't think I ever called the chief anything other than chief, even though I outranked them. Though I had this thing where it's like, you earn your rank, I'm going to call you your rank. You would always be chief, right? You were never going to be your first name. You would be, even my NCOs, Corporal such and such, Sergeant such and such. Your rank, that's how I'm addressing you, right? I am your captain or lieutenant. I'm addressing you as this rank that you have. I'm not your buddy. I had peers and I would call them Cam and Jeff and that sort of thing, but those are people the same rank as me. I would always try to respect the role.
4.
Okay, what's 4 plus 4?
8.
What's 8 plus 1?
9.
I told you I'd get you to say 9. I told you.
You said 5.
Damn. Burned.
Got it there. Mark, you owe me a steak dinner for that one.
Okay.
Bitch, I got it out the most.
Oh god, I gotta watch this nonsense. Okay, so the Army has... So when the Army was like, hey, we need to develop a hand-to-hand combat system. Well, this was around the time that the UFC and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts were getting big, and the Army realized that its old system, which was based on just like kind of woo-woo martial arts nonsense, might not actually be that effective in a real hand-to-hand combat situation. So they had some Ranger Regiment people train with the Gracies and work with them to create a curriculum that they called Army Combatives. And it actually was pretty good. Soldiers would have to graduate, they would actually have to have instructors with boxing gloves punching them pretty forcefully, not quite full force, but with some real heat, and they would have to clinch up with them, take them down, and achieve a dominant position like the mount. And it was really effective. There was a lot of live sparring in it, a lot of live rolling, and soldiers really got to develop. And the Army decided that combatives was a waste of time and too dangerous, and they turned it into what you just saw there, sort of half-assed drills which have some components of combatives-like activity.
Come on, let's go outside. Alright, if I throw this shit in there.
Yeah, you don't call people out to fight in the military.
Barrier. Then I'll be the next John Wick. Alright, fuck that shit.
Yeah, that is peak deployment right there. You're even more bored. There's even less stuff to do. You have to kill time however you can because you're trapped in a sandbox. That's why they called it the sandbox, because that's what it felt like. Those barriers just surround your fob, and especially if you're not a combat soldier, you don't even get to leave. Like literally going on patrol, like risking your life, was the highlight of your day.
Hey Tommy, let me get that fit check. Sheesh.
This is an excellent way to get in trouble. That belt is not designed for that. I know they call it a rigger's belt. It's not. It's really cheaply made. It's a military issue piece of clothing. So the chances of it ripping and him smacking the back of his head on that concrete floor are pretty high. Guys, when you come back from deployment, you don't get to keep all your gear. You have to turn it in. Okay, this is pretty fun. This is funny because this happened all the time. All the time. You know, I get it. It's hard. It's hard for a bunch of reasons. But damn, the number of soldiers, you see a lot of soldiers get badly burned. Like, wife left, take the kids, you come back to an empty house. Seen that happen to a lot of people, a lot of soldiers. And man, you're never the same. You're never like the same person after something like that. Yep, that's also true. Though, here's the thing. I'm a stickler for the rules, dude. I'm a stickler for the rules. And I don't do anything wrong. I don't get pulled over, right? Though, you know, yeah, I just try not to do anything wrong.
These are the people the Army let join.
Yeah, there's always weirdos. Yeah, it's like a scoop of probably like pre-workout or just like straight Gatorade powder.
Swallow.
This is just funny. Yeah, this is the caption sums it up, man. You're bored. This is the hashtag new normal.
No one's going home until the line's swept.
Yeah, that's the kind of nonsense that happens. This is the problem when you have these like eccentric commanders who've been only in the military their entire lives, putting out orders, is that they become fixated on the strangest things, including stuff like, why is my parking lot dirty? And why is there a puddle of water? Well, usually the answer is because it's just rained. I once had a general just pick up a fire extinguisher inside our building, discharge it inside the building, and then drop the empty fire extinguisher on the ground and just say, clean that up. That's what passes for leadership sometimes, you know? Yeah, dude, they get the military discount. Yeah, I don't think I've ever used the military discount.
Everyone, little update. We're up here on the mountains.
What? Why does he have? Okay, you notice those funny looking tips on those rounds? One, this is not okay. You do not put those in there. They don't go in your helmet band. Also, they're sort of explosive. So, you know, they obviously aren't like delicate, but I don't know if you could ignite them. Right? And it's just, what are you going to do with them? What are you going to do with them in the helmet? You're not doing anything there. You know, you're going to fish them out one at a time, like a bolt action rifle? You stupid. Also, why is this man not shaved? You're supposed to shave. When you're in the field, you're still subject to regulations. There's a lot wrong with this, but I got to see what this dude says.
Radio man over here, binocular man. Oh yeah, look at that sexy motherfucker. Then we got Skinny Pete, Skinny Pete?
I ever rock up my ass?
Well, Skinny Pete apparently has a rock up his ass, so.
Oh, I think he's from the UK. Yeah, I think he's a UK soldier. Okay, different set of rules. But anyway, those funny looking rounds, they're blanks. There's no bullet there. They just make a noise and go pop. They're on a training exercise.
Anyways, And he just farted.
All right, wow, guys, that was some serious intellectual firepower. We just got there. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments if you want more like this. All right, see you guys next time.